You're listening to the Mommy Talks podcast, where we firmly believe that mommying while juggling a business and managing a family can be hard at times. So how are others accomplishing it? Self-appointed Mommy Executive Officer of the Money Making Mommies, Aisha Gillum, will help you redefine what mommying looks like while running a business and managing a family. Here's your host, educator, entrepreneur, and oatmeal raisin cookie lover, Aisha Gillum.
Hi guys, my name is Aisha. I wanted to just take a moment to turn the camera around so that you can put a face with the voice that you're listening to. I fully understand what being a mom is, and that goes for on and off camera. And so I want you to know that I plan to be as comfortable as possible on my end, and I ask that whenever you come here and visit with me that you do the same. Be completely open and honest with yourself, because that's the only way that I'll be able to truly assist you in reaching your greatest potential. Now, if at any time I don't have what you're looking for at that moment, if you could reach out to me and my team at support@expandingwithaisha.com, I would be sure to get that information out for you. And in the meantime, check out the information that I have and leave me a review. I would greatly appreciate it. If this is your first time here, be sure that you hit that subscribe button no matter where it is. It may be over here in the corner, maybe over here or over there. Subscribe. Splurges and fun. What is that exactly? Growing up in a single mother household, we didn't get to experience that. It wasn't until I became an adult that I even realized that my own mother had never taken a vacation, until I was fortunate enough to take her on one back in 2020, just before coronavirus came in and changed all of our lives. I have never passed judgment on her because, unlike some, she made every effort to do the best in raising her 4 children on her own. And it was based on her conditioning that led her to where she ended up. Now, I remember my very first family vacation experience was with my elementary school best friend and her family. The family had planned a trip to Carowinds Amusement Park and invited me to go with them. How exciting! Now, although I was so terrified of heights and I did not ride much, I remember it being quite an experience. It was this experience that has impacted me the most still to this day. As a child, you hear about kids who know exactly what they want to be when they grow up. That was not me. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life when I grew up. I only knew that I always desired more. So I focused on graduating high school and working various jobs after that. I felt that it was a pretty okay life since I was able to buy whatever I wanted because I had no kids until the age of 23. Now, it wasn't until after I had my sons and I experienced a near-death situation that I got laser focused. I realized I had ended up in a similar situation as my mother, raising them without either of their fathers in the home. I say similar because although I was doing it alone, I had managed to take my boys on trips here and there, but nothing to the extent that I felt that they truly deserved. Now, it wasn't until I was in this rebuilding process of my life that I even realized that the best way for me to be able to provide them the best life possible, which I'm sure we all desire for our children, was going to be by taking back control over my financial situation, which I had not even realized was an issue until I met my mentor. One of the first things that she brought to my attention was possibly overpaying in taxes. What most of us don't realize is that taxes are an employee's single most largest expense each month. Wait, what? You heard me correctly. This may come as a shock to some, but not everyone pays taxes. The wealthy make more money but pay less in taxes simply because they understand the tax laws, and instead of operating out of the E, which is the employee quadrant, like many families, they operate out of the B, which stands for business, and I, which stands for investor quadrant. This is how people like Donald Trump have been reported to not pay taxes for stretches of up to 10 years. I remember when I first started working, someone told me that you should claim 9 for 6 months, then claim 0 for the next 6 months. How silly does that sound? Now, not understanding this, I simply did as I was told because, truth be told, I had no idea what I was supposed to enter or even how to figure out what I should enter. By not fully understanding what the form was asking, I would enter in 9 to offset the amount of taxes that the government would take out of each paycheck, then claim 0 to allow them to take the amount I believed I owed before the end of the year, thinking that the form was asking for the number of dependents I had to claim. In actuality, what the form was asking for was the amount of exemptions allowed based on my current situation. By not being aware of the exact amount of exemptions you could claim legally, most people ended up overpaying in taxes, giving the government a tax-free loan, and receiving a tax refund as their repayment to them and their family. What if you were to stop overpaying in taxes and could invest that money into investments, building a business, or even bills that we all have, but in a way that then allotted you a way to have some family fun? Luckily for the next generation, they have replaced this form, which has been updated for any new employees. I would suggest if you haven't updated your W-4 form within the last 2 years that you do so, because you could still very well be overpaying in taxes. How can you check if you're overpaying in taxes? By visiting irs.gov. They actually have implemented a calculator, which is simply a series of questions based on your current situation that tallies the amount of taxes you would owe for that year. After you have determined where you stand and updated your information with your HR department, if it applies, because I understand that everyone does not work a job, then you want to figure out how to improve your family's standard of living with that extra money that you could have and implement splurges and fun into the mix. I recently had the pleasure of interviewing this stay-at-home mom that earns miles and points from her family's credit card purchases and uses those to take her family on extravagant vacations for months at a time. I know it sounds insane, right? Exactly my first thoughts. They are taking advantage of the rewards that their credit card offers, earning miles and points, and then applying those to cover the family's airfare and hotel accommodations. They are simply using their credit cards like anyone else that has a credit card, but to cover their monthly expenses so that they meet certain requirements to earn those miles and points. And just before they are hit with any interest from those purchases, they pay off their balances in full. I'm not suggesting that you go obtain a lot of credit cards and go on shopping sprees and put yourself in debt, because debt is another obstacle that the majority of American families face when attempting to attain financial freedom. Just know having a family no longer means that you are confined to stay home, no longer able to enjoy life. In order to qualify for a majority of the cards that offer the amazing deals that this mom and her family are taking advantage of, you do first have to have at least a 700 or above credit score. But if you feel that you are ready to discover the secrets to traveling more for less and explore the world with your family, please visit her website, which is www.katiestraveltricks.com. I would like to take the last few moments that we have together just to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for visiting with me today, and ask that if you could take a few more moments just to leave the show a review, I would greatly appreciate it. And if no one has told you today, you are freaking awesome. So until next time, you take care of yourself and those babies, you money-making mommy you.
Thanks for listening to the Mommy Talks podcast. Dive into the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at www.mommytalkspodcast.com. If you love this show, share it with a friend. The more the merrier. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time, you money-making mommy you.